What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, Lottie Dottie, and everybody. This is Dan with the Bullish Bears team. How are you all? Awesome, JS, Shock. I got my chart set up, watch list all good to go. A nice typical special blend between gappers. I got NFLX on here today. From the swing trade watch list, I actually traded options on this yesterday. Caught some of this intraday move, and now we got a nice little cup and handle in the pre-market, which is kind of cool. I'm watching SPY sell off heavily right now. What the heck is going on here? So, let's see. Did I miss a tweet? The ECB, oh yeah, thank you. That's right. Monetary policy statement, interest rate decision speaking. We had jobless claims at 8:30. Now we have we had the press conference on the ECB press conference at 8:30. So there's going to be lots of articles and pundits talking about that today. Looks like the conference started at 8:30. It's 45 minutes long or so. So we'll have to see how markets react to that. Could be a roller coaster. I noticed gold spiking. Gold and metals spiking, dropping. It's going to be probably be a chop fest. Chop fest today. Let's see. Yeah, so gold's trading inside this triangle right now. So, yeah, they said something they didn't like, that's for sure. Yeah, so much for the bull party. This is so annoying for bulls, I know. I mean, if you're trying to day trade it, and you're missing this whole after hours move, right? The only saving grace is you hope that this new channel, majority of this channel has held, except a little bit in the pre-market yesterday. But the trend is up, so, there could be a good dip buy still. Unless this thing just crashes through here, then we might find, move back into that lower range. But SPY worked really hard. If we take a look at the last 10 days, it worked really hard to get out of this. Kind of made this W pattern breakout. And typical, right? So if you're a buyer somewhere in here, you're trapped long, also trapped shorts, and then it breaks out of a major, resistance, short term, even though it's just short term resistance, right? Although I'm sure if we go back on the chart, there's some longer term levels in this level. But I digress. There's going to be profit taking at the upper end of this channel. I mean, look at this. This is firm resistance. So of course there's going to be sellers up in this level, and then there's going to be dip buyers. So maybe we'll be a dip buyer today. Maybe the bulls will look to dip, buy the dip, and I actually, looking at this, I kind of like this. Maybe if this holds and I get a nice hammer on a 5, 10, 15-minute candle off this 200 SMA, and we could get a V-shaped recovery. There's a lot that could happen here. So that's SPY. Didn't plan on talking about that too much, but it seemed relevant based on the price action. Back over to NFLX. I like the closing at highs and holding them so far. Super low volume pre-market, and they announced they're getting more competitive fighting for business in India, which is a very big market, obviously, especially for the mobile devices. Everyone's got a mobile phone with streaming, and I think it's more popular to watch on mobile devices over there. I can't be certain of that for sure, but at any rate, it looks like we have some angular. Let's see if we get this right to the candle wick. We do have some angular resistance up here. We got a cup and handle at angular resistance, and I've been watching Netflix to hit this 330s. This is a falling trend line, so it could hit it anywhere, but this was basically created during the pre-earnings sell-off, and then the announcement, and then the gap down, and ideally it would be great to also shoot for a minor retracement off the, let's see, 305 or so low. So shooting that 344 level, but obviously we have this major trend line right here. We don't know when it's going to do a minor retracement, but ideally, if we're trying to swing trade this, we're shooting for this 344 level. But we got to watch our volume and market sentiment and all things like that. So typically, I will try to day trade stuff like this versus swing trade these. This is on the swing trade list. If you were going to swing trade this, you would do a spread, right? Or you would just buy the stock and get a good entry on the stock. Let's see, what am I missing in the chat? You guys are talking about BA, so I probably should talk about BA. This BA had earnings, and it gapped down, and it's around the hourly 200 SMA, and it's below it. So this is a kind of a bearish turn of events. We're well below all these fib levels, so this fib is old. We can get rid of that. And we're still in this huge, major channel. And it looks like there might be a kind of a sloping, descending triangle. We got some wicks out here, right? So, you know, BA longs. Just trying to clean up my chart a little bit. BA longs might be better off waiting to connect to this angular support. The algos and dip buyers obviously have told you this is a significant support level and we're close to it. So why not just wait for several touches of this and a momentum shift before going long, unless you're going to try to average into this. I mean, I prefer nice touches, even if it's just a 5-minute candle off of a support level like this before going long. It's roughly in the 355 area, Lone Wolf. So 355, I'm sorry. Yeah, 355 to 356 because it's a moving target. When I shift to a 5-minute chart, oddly, it actually shows it. It's not odd. It's just the declination changes with the trend lines, typical on TrendSpider. I'm sorry, Thinkorswim. If we look at BA on our TrendSpider chart, we'll get some good data. So cool right here, right? We got the 50 SMA on TrendSpider for BA around 357.50. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at this closer. Morning, YouTube. Let's look at this closer and just have some thoughts about this. So if we just get rid of our first time frame analysis, moving averages, and just look at the dailies, we broke some major angular, and this 50 SMA, we typically, after a run up, have to test it, right? And then, you know, you can see here we've actually got below it. We're so close to it. You know it's going to touch. You know it. The algos need to test this several times and test the strength of it. And it could bounce, and you could, you know, day trade this for what it's worth. But here you go. Here's that same trend line. So you know that trend line I drew on Thinkorswim? Well, here it is in this green format on a 4 hour. These wicks I recognize right off the bat. And there's your 50 SMA. So just wait. If you're gonna try to buy the dip on Boeing, why wouldn't you wait for 50 SMA test and ideally this trend line, and then see if the volume shifts and if this puts in some type of recovery? This could trade inside. I'm not thinking this channel anytime soon, but this could trade inside this 4 hour and daily, almost symmetrical triangle. This looks these are kind of equal angles to each other. So I could see Boeing trading inside this range, 380 to the 350s and 360s for maybe a couple weeks, and then we see if it moves into another area. Let's see, let's add that in there. So, all right, let's take a look at Facebook. So Facebook had earnings last night. And, yep, EMW, I'll look at that too. Let me look at Facebook really quickly. So, Facebook hanging out near the upper end. I could see a cup and handle or rising wedge forming up here. I know they got smacked with that big fine, but their earnings were not terrible. Obviously super choppy, markets are overextended, so there's a lot that could potentially happen with Facebook if you're trying to day trade it. You can see we're over our short-term momentum support trend lines. Our daily 9 EMA momentum daily line is way down here at 201. If we look at the daily chart versus the weekly chart and look at the potential, look at how close we are to all-time highs, right? So if we just clean up the trend lines, get rid of a few things, and throw on our weekly Fibonacci levels, here are all-time highs right up here. And we've cleared a lot of noise back here in the 200 level, and we've back tested 200 several times. So I'm thinking Facebook moves higher, and it takes its sweet time to get there. But looking at as long as this weekly candle doesn't get pulled back down and close below 205, it looks like 205.36 on this chart, but I would say anywhere above 205 would be bullish. Maybe back test 205 a few times before moving higher, but and if it closes below, I would be concerned of this rolling over and creates a lower high. Ideally for Facebook to continue to bull, it tests all-time highs and breaks through, makes higher highs, and that's would keep the trend intact. But we're not, it really depends on this daily and weekly candle. Are we going to close in this upper range and, get closer to our Fibonacci level? We can always, create an alert for if it touches to sell on the weekly fib, and we can do 30 days and just babysit this alert level on Facebook. So that's Facebook. Let's take a look at Tesla really quick, and then we'll go through a couple other stocks. So Tesla is interesting. What's up with Tesla? I was going to say that daily candle doesn't look right. So massive gap down, bear, I don't know. It's kind of a falling wedge, bear flag. It's ugly. It's just ugly. And if we look at maybe 15-minute trend, daily moving averages, we are below my 34. We're below my 20, my 9. We are doing lots of prints below those moving averages. We could snap back. There could be a snapback. There's always some type of snapback. I mean, look at Netflix. It just might take a little while. Let's see. Let's kill drawings and turn on hourly. Yeah, so you see all these major hourly trend lines broken. Those are short sell signals. While we're below the daily 100. And let's see, daily support. Wow, I got crushed up here. I don't see I got to go out further. Excuse me. Yeah, so there's that daily candle. It's right there. So look at all this long-term daily support way down here. It looks really ugly. This is the 9 EMA weekly. Closing below that 9 EMA weekly creates a potential for an FU pattern. You know, so kind of think of a very narrow head and shoulders. You know, it's interesting not seeing. Let's see if we can find any more trend lines that would support this. Looks like, so algorithmically, these trend lines are drawn. They're not discerning them being giving equal weight to all of them. But if we put all of them on there and just give them equal weight in our minds, at least, we can see that there's important points that the computers will notice, and we might actually come down here before bouncing. Just, you know, being below this weekly 9 EMA is not good. So if you put your hand up to your screen, you can pretty much get half of a middle, your hand, if you put a middle finger up to this chart. You know, your pointer fingers your middle finger is actually touching up here. The rest of your hand fits here, and you could just picture this thing going all the way down and double bottoming potentially. But it will bounce. It's not going to go straight down, and it's definitely tradable. This 9 weekly EMA, they really got to hold this zone, and right now the momentum is down. So we need all the sellers to kind of wash out and see what type of, you know, short-term momentum comes back to snap it back. So that is Tesla. Let's look at NOK. I'm going to try to go through order now. And so NOK had earnings. Let's look at the 5-minute versus daily, and you can see snapping away from, right, rejecting the 200 SMA daily right there. All right, so that is clearly, we want to see this break through today. If this is going to be bullish, it's going to break through the 200 SMA. That needs to happen. And we would have to see some kind of cup and handle or bull flag or something to break out. There's this huge gap. We're above the 100 SMA. We could sell off all the way to the 100 SMA and then bounce. If we look at daily versus weekly, this is really quick and easy. See how quick and easy it is? Just using TrendSpider. On Thinkorswim, I got to draw all kinds of lines, do this and that. I don't feel like it today. I mean, I've already done it a lot on all these charts, but it's just easier to show you guys. So there's the daily candle. This is live, real-time daily candle. Even though it's pre-market, it's showing what today's daily candle would look like if it was, well, this is just as it is. And we are so, actually, wait a second. Yeah, we rejected from there. Right, that's why we don't see the wick. Yeah, so that 200 SMA needs to be taken out, and there's potential to maybe cross into one of these other trend lines. But I digress. We got to look for momentum on this one. And right now with the pattern, I could see this, you know, maybe washing out and retesting the lower end of its gap. So let's keep our eyes on that today. It's definitely on the watch list. Let's see what's next on my list. Sprint. So this one was awesome yesterday. Grinder, right? So we were looking for it to break a trend line here that was drawn on the, I might have deleted the trend line. Yeah, I did. So I did have a trend line here. Was looking for that to break out. Retested VWAP, 5-minute VWAP, and moved up. And now we are snuggled up nicely to this fib level and looking to break out over that. And then we will see shorts get squeezed and this price action push this higher, potentially to $8 and maybe further. There we go. I'm going to clear my throat. So I like Sprint. Sprint is on the watch list today for sure. There might be a bit of a rising wedge forming on this, but a cup and handle in or outside of a rising wedge is fine. Being up near this fib level We just want to see some type of bullish pattern form. These rising wedges will kind of catch you out a lot of times, and do a lot of fake outs and retests. So, especially in the way this market is trading right now, I find rising wedges to be on these shorter time frames more traps. But if you look for cup and handles and volume, you'll see some kind of volume trend today, and you'll get a good buy signal on this one way or the other. And nice bid ask spread on something like this. So this is a fun one for day traders to trade, especially for more novice traders. I would recommend trading something like Sprint or Snap. Something with a larger float, tight bid ask, and lots of liquidity to get your skills up. DDD. So did this have earnings today? Let's see. Lucian made the watch list, so I don't think this had earnings. It did not have earnings, and this is our alert level. It's obviously pre-market, kind of messy. We're going to look for volume to come in. This thing can do quite well sometimes. I've seen this thing really run. Obviously yesterday had a great run. Very similar to Sprint, right? It kind of formed this like elongated pennant and then boom, smashed out of it. So very similar to Sprint. Ended up in this channel, broke this channel, but we could see a cup and handle, maybe inverse head and shoulders, some type of bullish pattern to push this higher. And let's see, where's our daily moving averages? We got that 100 SMA up there around 920. I'm sorry, that's not 920, that's 970. And then our 200 SMA. So we could see some Momo come in on this one. That would be very, very pleasant to trade something like this. Again, this has a tight bid-ask spread as well. I like it. I do like it. That's why it's on the watch list. And let's see, DDD. Oh, GEMP. You guys have been waiting for GEMP. I didn't forget about you, Marco. All right, so GEMP. Yikes. Let me just turn off. Let's just put on most relevant trend lines. Actually, let's just turn fibs and trend lines off. So just think about this: 5-minute chart versus daily moving averages, real time multi-time frame analysis, and you've got these crazy wicks up here. I'm sure there's some weekly resistance up here. We'll look at that in a second. And then I'm going to kind of go into trading mode. But this is pulled back, and we are congregating, consolidating potentially at this 200 SMA daily and the 100 SMA daily. These are all our 50, 34, 20, and 9. We've left those moving averages behind on the daily chart by this gap. But if we start printing on this lower range, this could be not as exciting for traders to trade. It may not draw them in. Let me just check the workspace news on GEMP. I think there was a 8K or something filed. I did the data this morning, and my brain's drawing a blank on what the news was. Let's see. Yeah, I saw an article, and I shared some news on that. Let's see. Was it I can't find it now. Maybe they changed it. Where the heck did I put that article? Oh, there it is. Alright, so reverse merger with a privately held company. So an all-stock deal that they're offering to the company to do the deal. So might help their pipeline. There could be something good that comes out of that for GEMP long. So maybe we see some volume come into this one today. So we shall see. So GEMP is on the watch list. What did I not cover? I didn't cover. Oh, I didn't cover GNC, but we have our alert level set for GNC and APVO, Alpha Peter Victor Oliver. We got a 92-cent level. This thing, had a 5-cent range on it yesterday. Maybe we see another 5-10 cents on this. Getting closer to $1. So there's actually potentially 8 cents to be made on this one today if volume comes in. Alright guys, I'm going to shut down the YouTube stream. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Going to go take care of our members in the trade room. You guys want to come hang out with us in the trade room. We always do a free trial, so you guys can come in, check us out, and learn from us, continue to learn from us. We have multiple trade rooms and streamers teaching all kinds of strategies and how to use these tools and look for buy and sell signals and all that fun stuff. So we will see you guys on the other side. Trade safely.